Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. At least 51 people killed and over 100 injured after a fire broke out at a nightclub in North Macedonia. The United States launches military strikes against Houthi rebels, killing 31. Russia urges US to halt Yemen strikes. Prime Minister's podcast with AI researcher Lex Fridman to be aired today. Podcast covers diverse topics including Prime Minister's journey in public life. Sunita Williams and Wilmore a step closer to homecoming as NASA's SpaceX Crew Dragon successfully docks at International Space Station. In North Macedonia, at least 51 people were dead and over 100 injured after a fire broke out at a nightclub. The tragedy occurred at Pulse nightclub during a concert by DNK, a hip-hop duo popular in country. State news agency citing the Interior Ministry said at least 50 people died in a discotheque in Kokani. In fact, Kokani, where around 1,500 people attended a concert. The concert that started at midnight on Sunday was attended mainly by young people, with the Interior Minister saying that the cause of the fire was probably the use of pyrotechnic devices used for light effect at the concert. United States has launched large-scale airstrikes against Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels on Saturday, targeting their attacks on Red Sea shipping. The strikes, which killed at least 31 people, marks the largest U.S. military operation in the Middle East since Trump took office. More in this report.
United States launched military strikes against Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis on Saturday over the group's attacks against Red Sea shipping, warning hell will rain down upon you if the Houthis do not abandon their campaign. Video shared by the US Central Command on Saturday shows a ship firing missiles and a strike on a ground building seen from above. Trump in Truth Social post wrote, "Today I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft and drones. To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up and your attacks must stop starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before." It was the first such strikes against the group since President Donald Trump took office in January. Trump in his post also warned Iran, asking it to stop backing Houthis. Trump wrote to Iran, "Support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Do not threaten the American people, their president, who has received one of the largest mandates in presidential history, or worldwide shipping lanes. If you do, beware, because America will hold you fully accountable and we won't be nice about it." In response, a Revolutionary Guard commander says Iran will stand firm against any threats. The Houthis began attacking ships near the Red Sea in late 2023, after a period of relative calm coinciding with a ceasefire in Gaza in January. Houthis announced on Tuesday that they will attack any Israeli ship that violates the group's ban on Israeli ships passing through the Red and Arabian Seas, the Bab al-Mandab Strait and the Gulf of Aden. Fuzail Ahmed reports for DD India.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov engaged in a phone call focusing on the next phase of negotiations to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict. According to State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce, the diplomats concurred on continuing efforts to restore U.S.-Russia communication. Rubio briefed Lavrov on recent U.S. military operations in the West Asia, including airstrikes against Houthi rebel targets in Yemen. Russian Foreign Ministry said in response to the American representative's arguments, Sergei Lavrov stressed the need for an immediate cessation of the use of force and the importance for all sides to engage in political dialogue in order to find a solution that would prevent further bloodshed. Notwithstanding tensions between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Kyiv has agreed in principle to a 30-day unconditional ceasefire contingent upon Moscow ceasing its attacks in eastern Ukraine. However, Russian President Vladimir Putin has declined to accept the truce, instead positing conditions that exceed the terms of the US-Ukraine agreement. The next round of US-Russia talks facilitated by Saudi Arabia is anticipated, although a specific timeline remains unclear. Russia and Ukraine exchanged aerial attacks on Sunday, resulting in injuries and damage as a proposed 30-day ceasefire hangs in the balance. Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed support for the ceasefire, but stipulated that his forces would continue fighting until certain conditions are met. The conflict escalated with Ukraine launching drone attacks on the Russian border region of Belgorod, injuring 3 people, including a 7-year-old. Russian air defense units retaliated, destroying over 15 Ukrainian drones in the Voronezh region. Ukraine reported several Russian drone strikes, including one that sparked a blaze in a high-rise building in the Chernihiv region. Explosions were also reported in the Kyiv region, prompting Ukraine's Air Force to issue warnings of potential drone attacks. The ongoing violence underscores the uncertainty surrounding the proposed ceasefire as both sides continue to trade blows. The international community remains concerned about the escalating conflict, with diplomatic efforts going to broker a peaceful resolution. March 16 marks the anniversary of 2014 Crimean referendum, a vote that sparked international controversy and reshaped geopolitics. The referendum, held under Russian control, saw a majority of Crimean voters choose to join Russia, a move widely condemned by Ukraine and the West as illegal. Russia, however, considers it as legitimate expression of people's will. As the region marks another year since the vote, tensions remain high. DD India correspondent Anil Thomas gets us the details.
Referendum held on 16th of March 2014 saw Crimean officials report that over 96% of voters supported joining Russia. Days later, President Vladimir Putin signed a treaty formally annexing the region. However, Ukraine, the European Union and United States dismissed the vote as illegitimate, citing the presence of Russian troops and a lack of independent oversight. Each year, Russia commemorates the event with parades and speeches, while Ukrainian and Western countries impose sanctions. Meanwhile, ordinary Crimeans remain divided, some enjoying improved pensions and infrastructure under Russia, while others report crackdowns on dissent and restrictions on freedoms. As tensions between Russia and Ukraine continue, the status of Crimea remains a key point of contention on the global stage. Although Crimea is still governed by Russia, the political struggle for its status is far from done. One of the most divisive geopolitical conflicts of the 21st century is still the Crimea problem. The future of the region is still unclear despite ongoing diplomatic attempts. Bureau Report, DD India.
More than tens of thousands of protesters descended on Serbia's capital Belgrade on Saturday, marking one of the largest rallies in decades. Serbia has seen months of anti-government rallies after 15 people died from a railway station roof collapse triggered accusations of widespread corruption and negligence. Streets were choked as protesters kept up a festive mood, lighting flares and chanting their slogan, "Pump it up." The protesters are demanding the release of documents about last year's railway station disaster in the city of Novi Sad and accountability for those responsible. Many had travelled hundreds of miles on foot or by bike. The government denies accusations of graft and incompetence and said that Western intelligence agencies are backing a push to destabilize Serbia. Havana on Saturday remained mostly without power as night fell due to a collapse on Cuba's electric grid the night before. Cuba's power grid collapse has left over 10 million people without electricity, with Havana being the most affected. The grid failed on March 14 after a transmission line in Havana triggered a chain reaction, shutting down power generation across the island. The situation is dire, with only a few buildings like hotels, government offices and the US Embassy having power. The streets are mostly lit by the headlights of passing cars. Officials have started the process of restarting the country's old generation plants, but there is no timeline for restoring power yet. Deadly tornadoes rip through several southeastern states of US, leaving at least 33 people dead and many injured. The tornadoes ravaged several southeastern states, including Missouri, Arkansas and Texas. Unfavorable weather destroyed homes, overturned large trucks and downed trees and power lines. The tornado was part of a severe weather outbreak moving east across the southeastern United States. Severe weather has caused significant damage across the region. The destruction has displaced residents. Emergency services and rescue efforts are underway. Forecasters warned of more tornadoes to come over the weekend, targeting Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi and Tennessee. The deadly tornado have left many residents in shock, struggling in the torrential weather.
We've got a total loss on our canopy. We've lost our compressor units to our coolers. We had several vehicles, tractor trailers that were damaged. Our roof, the roof to our storage building. Trying to think of what, there's just so much. We've lost all of our food, all of the stuff that's in the freezers and refrigerators, everything in our cooler with the compressor going out. So the food's a pretty big, I mean, this is all a big loss. We've lost all of our pumps. They were pulled out of the ground.
I had a lot of debris that was on the side of the truck and just around the truck area, whatever. And me and the other truck drivers, we came together and we, moved all the debris from in front of the trucks and everything like that.
US President Trump's directive have led to the placement of over 1,300 Voice of America employees on leave and the termination of funding for Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty and Radio Free Asia. Voice of America's director, Michael Abramowitz, expressed sadness, stating the organization has played a crucial role in promoting freedom and democracy worldwide. The U.S. Agency for Global Media, Voice of America's parent agency, employs around 3,500 workers with an $886 million budget. Trump's order also targeted 6 other federal agencies, aiming to reduce their operations to the minimum required by law. The move has been criticized by free press advocates, with the National Press Club and Reporters Without Borders condemning the cuts. The funding termination affects Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, which broadcasts to Eastern Europe, and Radio Free Asia, which broadcasts to China and North Korea. The move has sparked concerns about the impact on press freedom worldwide. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently had an engaging and thought-provoking conversation with renowned podcaster and AI researcher Lex Fridman. The discussion, lasting 3 hours, covered diverse topics including Prime Minister Modi's childhood, his formative years spent in the Himalayas and his journey in public life. This much anticipated 3-hour podcast with renowned AI researcher and podcaster Lex Fridman is set to be aired on Sunday. Lex Fridman described the conversation as one of the most powerful conversations of his life. Responding to the X post of Lex Fridman about the upcoming podcast, PM Modi wrote on X, and I quote, "It was indeed a fascinating conversation with Lex Fridman, covering diverse topics including reminiscing about my childhood, the years in the Himalayas and the journey in public life. Do tune in and be a part of this dialogue." Prime Minister Narendra Modi has applauded Reserve Bank of India for winning Digital Transformation Award 2025. India's central bank has been honoured with the Digital Transformation Award 2025 by Central Banking London, UK, recognising its innovative digital initiatives, Prava and Sarthi, developed by its in-house developer team. Commending the achievement, the Prime Minister wrote on X, "A commendable accomplishment, reflecting an emphasis towards innovation and efficiency in governance. Digital innovation continues to strengthen India's financial ecosystem, thus empowering countless lives." And still to come on this edition on DD India News Hour. World leaders begin arriving in New Delhi for Raisina Dialogue. Hundreds protest outside planned site of Chinese embassy in London. BLA conducts another deadly attack on Pakistan. Army kills at least in Noshki, Balochistan.
What is more important, fixing the present or planning for the future? Innovators across the globe rethinking the way we live to secure a better future for us.
I found out about the Rahi trade-in scheme. I went to the agency and discovered that I could receive a subsidy for this e-rickshaw.
We basically mirror that same process, but instead of water for one of our solutions, we use blocks, powering about 35,000 homes.
Our goal is to send a message that it's important to fight for better urban air quality. And I think Liquid 3 sends that message.
We prepare fish amino acid by mixing the fish waste with jaggery. It is also an excellent organic fertilizer for plants and trees.
We're moving from the lab stage to industrial scale production. We still have a few challenges to deal with, but we've seen that it works.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon has arrived in New Delhi on his first official visit to India. During his visit, Prime Minister Luxon will engage in talks with PM Modi on March 17, covering various aspects of India-New Zealand relations. PM Modi will host a lunch in Luxon's honour, and the New Zealand Prime Minister is also scheduled to call on Indian President Draupadi Murmu. The visit aims to strengthen bilateral ties between India and New Zealand across all sectors and deepen people-to-people connections. He will also visit Mumbai, where he will interact with Indian business leaders and representatives from various walks of life. PM Luxon will also be the chief guest and keynote speaker in the Raisina Dialogue 2025. As New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon visits India, and in the spirit of deepening economic cooperation, the two nations have announced the launch of negotiations for a comprehensive and mutually beneficial India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement negotiations. This significant step was marked by a meeting between India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and New Zealand's Minister for Trade and Investment Todd McClay today, laying the foundation of a momentous partnership towards strengthening the economic and trade ties between the two countries. The FTA negotiations aim to achieve balanced outcomes that enhance supply chain integration and improve market access. This milestone reflects a shared vision for a strong economic partnership, fostering resilience and prosperity. Minister of Foreign Affairs for Ghana, Samuel Okud-Zito Ablakwa, has also arrived in India for Raisina Dialogue. Raisina Dialogue is India's premier conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, committed to addressing the most challenging issues facing the global community. Eduardo Martinez Diaz, the Deputy Prime Minister of Cuba, has also arrived in India for the Raisina Dialogue. India's Ministry of External Affairs is hosting the 10th edition of Raisina Dialogue. This year's theme is Kala Chakra, People, Peace, Planet. Various world leaders are coming to New Delhi for Raisina Dialogue. And DD India's Amrit Pal Singh joins us live. Hi Amrit. To begin with, New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon has arrived in India on official visit. Amrit, he's accompanied by a high-level delegation. Tell us a bit more about it.
Well, he arrived this morning with posse of ministers. His trade minister, his foreign minister, other senior ministers of his cabinet are there. This is the first visit of Christopher Luxon as the Prime Minister of New Zealand to India. Both sides have already begun the negotiations on the FTA. In fact, Piyush Goyal met with the Trade Minister of New Zealand this afternoon, and they officially said that they started the negotiations on FTA, looking at how to expand the economic ties between the two countries, to increase trade and investment between the two countries, and see what further areas can be eased up for collaboration between the two countries when it comes to commerce and trade. Apart from that, of course, the two sides will be looking at talking about the Indo-Pacific, its security, the development of the Indo-Pacific, because Indo-Pacific, New Zealand lies in the theater of the Indo-Pacific, with India hosting the Quad this year, though New Zealand is not a part of the Quad, but it does have implications for New Zealand, and as you know, important trade routes routes pass through this theatre, so it would be of interest to New Zealand to know what India thinks and what kind of vision it espouses for both the security and prosperity of the Indo-Pacific region. Apart from them, of course, global discussions on global issues, be it the developments around the world, conflict, the trade wars that are going on, or the weaponization of tariffs, how it can be, the two sides could exchange views on it. The two prime ministers are meeting tomorrow morning at the Hyderabad House here in New Delhi, and later the delegations will have whole delegation level talks. Also, the two leaders will be present at the inaugural session of the Raisina Dialogue. Siddharth?
Amrit, New Zealand's PM will attend the inaugural session of Raisina Dialogue. You just said that as a chief guest. What updates do you have on this?
Well, as you know, Raisina Dialogue is a key dialogue on issues of geopolitics, geoeconomics, strategy. So every year it's held, and world leaders from around the world gather for that. So the Prime Minister of New Zealand is here of course, on a bilateral visit, but will also be participating. His foreign minister will be participating in the various sessions. His trade minister shall be speaking at the sessions. So there will be they'll be putting out there'll be an exchange of views on issues of global interest, including the tariffs, the situations in the conflict situations around the world. Siddharth.
Correct, Amrit, and also 10th Raisina Dialogue, and the theme this time is Kala Chakra, People, Peace, Planet. What is on the agenda?
On the agenda, as always, geoeconomics, geopolitics, the tariffs, the Ukraine situation, the talks between the two sides. As you know, the Ukrainian foreign minister is here. The Russians would be putting out their perspective. There is a huge delegation of US representatives, including the US delegation led by Tulsi Gabbard, their Director of National Intelligence. So their vision, she was the first one to meet Prime Minister Modi when he had visited the United States last month. So she shall be putting out, because she'll be hosting she'll be participating in a meeting of the intelligence chiefs that will be held on the sidelines of this meeting. So their worldview on that, security, how the progress, what is the progress on the Ukraine-Russia peace deal, the freight ties between Europe and United States, the impact of the tariffs Donald Trump threatens to impose on countries around the world, including on the EU. So all that would be on the agenda, Siddharth.
Very quickly, Amrit, events like Raisina Dialogue, tells a lot about India's equation with other countries. So many leaders are coming to India. That clearly shows that how good the bonding is between India and the other countries. People are coming here. People are praising Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his leadership, and also how India is progressing in various sectors.
You're right that this forum is used by India and of course other countries, participating countries. There are foreign ministers of more than 20 countries, representatives from 125 countries participating in this meeting. Important foreign ministers of Europe, of of course, the Ukrainian foreign minister is there. The deputy prime minister of Greece is there. So there are countries from around the world who are participating. There are heads of navies, think tanks, representatives from the government, outside the government, business leaders who come and speak at this forum. It is a good forum for countries to interact, and India's leverage in this. Surely the gathering, the size of the gathering, as you said, and the diversity of the gathering, given that India's hosting Quad this year, naval chiefs of various Quad countries are participating. So it's clearly, India utilizing its leverage to put its point of view across to the world and develop a consensus on the most pressing issues of our times. Siddharth?
Wonderful analysis by you, Amrit. Thank you so much. We'll leave it there. Hundreds of demonstrators protests at a site earmarked for Beijing's controversial new embassy in London. Royal Mint Court, a listed building which the Chinese government owns and plans to convert into a new mega embassy, would become the largest embassy in Europe if approved. Protester and Uyghur activist Rahima Mahmut said that this huge embassy will enable China to do their repression outside of their country.
Will be a hub for transnational repression. It will make extremely unsafe for the activists like myself. We Uyghurs been oppressed not only inside the Uyghur region, the East Turkestan, but also outside China. And having this huge embassy, it will enable China to do their transnational repression, to make it impossible for our safety to be guaranteed in this country. And we know this place is not going to be a place for diplomacy. Its place
has already demonstrated their embassy service goes beyond just diplomacy, but also they conduct transnational repression and intelligence services. So there's not possible to have an authoritarian regime to have the largest embassy in the
Party is conducting a campaign of transnational repression that directly threatens our freedoms and security in this country. So it seems crazy to be giving them this huge new embassy. And of course, the Chinese Communist Party is also complicit in not only repression within China, the genocide of the Uyghurs, the crackdown on Hong Kong, atrocities in Tibet, but also facilitating Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine, atrocities in Myanmar, North Korea. So China is not a friend, it's a threat to our freedoms and our security, and we shouldn't be giving them this embassy.
5 Pakistan Frontier Corps soldiers were killed and dozens injured after an explosion occurred near their convoy in Balochistan's Noshki on Sunday. Meanwhile, the separatist group Baloch Liberation Army BLA claimed responsibility while giving a much higher toll. Authorities said that there were 7 buses in the convoy which was heading to Taftan, and during the journey a car laden with explosives hit one of the buses. This incident comes days after BLA separatists hijacked a train with nearly 450 passengers, which left at least 31 dead. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Hundreds of Palestinians gathered for a Ramadan iftar at the ruins of their destroyed homes and the Salim Abu Muslim Mosque. The gathering served as a statement of defiance against attempts to displace Palestinians from Gaza. The Rome Marathon on Sunday began with an unprecedented 42-second moment of silence as 30,000 runners from 126 countries stood in solidarity with Pope Francis, who has been hospitalized for nearly a month. The silence, symbolizing 1 second for each kilometer of the race, was a tribute to the Pope, a strong supporter of the marathon. An exhibit called Re-Urgent in Hong Kong turns office spaces into art show to challenge strict work rules. The participant says it aims to change how people see workplaces. All right, and still to come on DD India Newshour. An expert's take on NASA's astronauts' delayed return. Search operation underway to locate 7 missing persons in India's Telangana tunnel collapse.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. And in a key milestone, NASA's SpaceX Crew Dragon successfully docked at the International Space Station early on Sunday in a crew swap mission that will allow 2 stranded astronauts, Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, to return home after 9 months on the orbiting lab. More in this report.
After 9 months of being stuck on the International Space Station, US astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore are a step closer to returning home. As NASA's SpaceX Crew Dragon successfully docked with the International Space Station carrying a 4-member team, paving the way for the return of 2 stranded astronauts. The Crew Dragon astronauts were warmly welcomed by their counterparts on the space station with emotional hugs and handshakes.
Crew 10 has had a great journey up here, about 28 hours to get back up to the space station, and I cannot tell you the immense joy of our crew when we looked out the window and we saw the space station for the first time. Returning for a couple of people, very first time for a couple of people. And let me tell you, that is such an amazing journey.
We are so excited to now be officially part of the Expedition 72. Thank you guys.
And Houston, thank you for tuning in this early morning. It was a wonderful day. Great to see our friends arrive. So thank you so much.
The 4-member mission called Crew 10 comprises 2 Americans, a Russian and a Japanese who will replace Williams and Wilmore on the ISS. But the duo can only prepare for return once Crew 10 gets adjusted to ISS conditions, which could take a few days. They can then return to Earth in a capsule that has been attached to the station since September as part of the prior Crew 9 mission. Williams and Wilmore reached the ISS in June 2024 for a mission which was originally expected to last for a week. But NASA deemed it too risky for the astronauts to return on Boeing Starliner over propulsion system related issues. The mission to bring them back was later given to Elon Musk's SpaceX, but the launch was delayed due to some technical problems and change in weather. The issue also took a political turn as Musk, a close ally of US President Donald Trump, claimed lapses on part of the previous administration led by Joe Biden. NASA has said that Williams and Wilmore have been carrying out scientific research and conducting routine maintenance and have remained safe. The duo's plight highlights risks of human spaceflight. It has also come as a major setback for Boeing's space venture. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, and joining me on the broadcast is Ajay Lele. He is a space expert, IDSA. Sir, first of all, a very warm welcome to the broadcast. And of course, it's a very good news for everyone, in the entire world that these astronauts, will be coming really, really soon. NASA's replacement crew successfully docked at the International Space Station. Hopefully, like I was saying, we can expect Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore on the blue marble soon. As a space expert, how do you see this?
Definitely, it's a very welcome step as far as the long wait, because it all started a journey for 7 to 8 or 9 days.
Yeah.
It prolonged till 9 months. So
Yeah.
that's a huge time. But both the astronauts, particularly Sunita Williams, has stayed very healthy over there. And now they all are geared to come back. But what happens is that the moment the first mission lands over there, and now along with Sunita Williams, 3 other astronauts will be getting back. So they will have to hand over the activities which are already been undertaken on the International Space Station. So that will take another 2 days. Then they will shift to the crew module. Then, like today, the docking had happened for the crew to enter inside the space station. Now, subsequently, when they enter into their crew module, de-docking has to take place, and then the journey may be lasting around 24 to 26 hours. Will start towards the Earth. It's a splashdown model which will get dropped off Florida coast, and then the naval people will pick them up, and subsequently they will be taken on the surface of the Earth. So it's a long journey from microgravity to gravity, lasting for 9 months.
And also, sir, there are various challenges related to it, especially when you are stranded there for so many months. As a space expert, can you just tell us about the challenges which these astronauts face when they are stranded, because it's not originally planned, and something happens, some helium leaks happened. Apart from that, there are some other things as well that is related to the spacecraft. What are the challenges that these astronauts face?
It all started with blowing Starliner, which reached there successfully. But after reaching over there and in the journey itself, there were some helium leaks which were happening. And NASA was underconfident whether the mission will successfully get the astronauts back to the surface of the Earth. So that's the basic reason, because there was no return flight available for them. The flight which was there was not safe enough for them to get back. So they got stranded over there. Now from 8 days to 9 months, you're not prepared mentally, number one.
Exactly.
Number two is that you are at the International Space Station, where every small object which is kept over there is based on the planning which is done.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, if 2 guests are going to be there and who are going to stay for so long, definitely there has to be a challenge as far as logistics is concerned. Because right from clothes to food, everything is always at a premium over there, basically because everything is well planned. And even to carry, say, half a kg of a weight from surface of the Earth to International Space Station, it costs huge amount of money. So definitely the things which are required for the human survival were not in abundance out over there. But yes, we had certain logistical missions which took place. They replenished the requirements over there. But the most important part was that the astronauts, were they mentally prepared to stay for so long? And it was not known on day one whether it will last for 1 month, 2 months. Now it has lasted for 9 months. But as the astronauts do get trained over a period of time, their mental makeup, what they are supposed to do in case of emergencies, everything is taught to them. But teaching is one aspect, and actually implementing in practice is other aspect. If you see how Sunita Williams has kept herself busy for last 9 months, number one is that she involved herself into scientific activities which were already happening over there. So she started participating in the projects which were happening. She undertook the maintenance work also of the International Space Station. She had a lot amount of experience earlier also. She had been to the space twice. So she has done a spacewalk, so she undertook a spacewalk also. If you see slightly the history of Sunita Williams' missions, she had gone in the year 2007 and subsequently in 2012 or 13 to International Space Station. Jointly, she has stayed there for 322 days. During that time also, she had undertaken spacewalks. So as of now, she has undertaken around 62 hours of spacewalks in all the 3 missions. So that's a very commendable thing. And the other aspect as far as her activities out over there was that she had taken a lead and she was made commander of the International Space Station. So today she has handed over that command. So it was a very treacherous journey, one can say, but they kept it very cool, she and her colleague. And I'm sure that by 19th or 20th, they will successfully get back to the Earth.
Indeed. Sir, there are so many technical terms related to it. You have rendezvous, you have docking, so many technical terms. But let me just, ask you this, that what happens exactly when astronauts come and return, to the blue marble, to the Earth? We heard that there is some sort of bone density reduction and also baby feet. What actually an astronaut feels when they land?
You see, what happens is that ISRO is sending astronauts because International Space Station is active with human activities since the year 2000. So they have got a very set procedures. This is not the first time that astronauts have stayed there for 9 months. The maximum period of a time where astronaut has stayed there is, I think, more than 1 year, that is 372 or 373 days or something. So ISRO has set procedures that after they get back, what sort of a medical treatment should be given to them, how much amount of a time they should be kept under observation. Because the basic challenge which emerges is that we all are accustomed to gravity. Whatever is there in our body, the fluids particularly move in a particular direction. But since you are almost in a zero gravity or a microgravity atmosphere over the International Space Station, definitely the fluids in your body behave differently because of the gravitational changes.
Correct.
Particularly when I'm using a word fluid, I'm talking of a blood. So there is a lot amount of a blood circulation related problems, blood pressure related problems. Blood is getting pumped for the heart also. So there are those related problems which will continue to happen over there, and it will have some impact on the health of the astronauts also. Other aspect is that your bone density, your muscles, everything is problematic out over there. And for so long you have stayed in such an atmosphere for say 9 months or so, definitely you are not going to get to the normalcy within no time as you land over the earth. The other issues which are related, which are normally not discussed, are issues related with the vision. Because you are stationary staying in a one particular set of atmosphere over there inside the International Space Station. So there have been instances of the past astronauts also where there has been certain impact on the vision also. Then there are issues related with space radiation. Space radiation may lead to having leukemia, blood cancer, or any other form of a cancers also. So there are a lot of health related issues, but astronauts over a period of time have understood what those sorts of problems are there. NASA has got a very strong medical team which has undertaken a lot amount of research, and they have found out various means how to actually overcome these problems.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining in on the broadcast. That was a wonderful discussion with you. Thank you so much once again for joining in. India's Minister of Home Affairs Amit Shah paid tribute to Bodofa Upendra Nath Brahma at 57th All Bodo Students Union Convention. The minister addressed the gathering emphasizing the need of strengthening peace accord and announced funds of $172 million for the development of Bodo land.
बोडो लैंड के विकास के लिए भारत सरकार और आसाम सरकार ने 1500 करोड़ रुपया केवल 35 लाख लोगों की आबादी में 1500 करोड़ रुपया आवंटित करने का काम हमारे नेता नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने किया है।
India is on track to surpass Germany and emerge as the world's third largest economy by 2028, according to a report by global financial giant Morgan Stanley. India's economy is expected to grow to $4.7 trillion by 2026, making it the fourth largest globally, just behind the US, China and Germany. By 2028, India will overtake Germany with a projected economy of $5.7 trillion. Additionally, India's share of global GDP is set to rise from 3.5% to 4.5% by 2029. Let's take a look at other stories making news. The rescue operation continues in the southern Indian state of Telangana to save 7 workers trapped in the SLBC tunnel. The tunnel's roof collapsed on February 2022, and on March 10, the body of one worker was recovered. Rescue operation is underway in Telangana. Rescue operation to save 7 workers trapped in the SLBC tunnel. The tunnel's roof collapsed on February 22, and on 10th of March, the body of one worker was recovered. And Pelikula Zoo in the southern Indian state of Karnataka is taking special measures to protect animals from the heat wave. To keep them cool, the zoo has installed water tanks for animals to soak in, sprinklers and fans for better ventilation in animal houses. And still to come on DD India Newshour. India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati receives the Jamal Lal Sharma Award for invaluable contribution at the Hockey India Annual Awards 2024. Hockey India celebrates the country's hockey heroes at the Hockey India 7th Annual Awards 2024 at New Delhi. River dyed green for St. Patrick's Day in Midwest city of Chicago, Illinois.
Welcome to Jaipur.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. The 10th National Conference on Economics of Competition Law was organized in New Delhi. Addressing the conference, India's Minister of State for Corporate Affairs, Harsh Malhotra, emphasized the need to protect consumer interests in light of the changing digital landscape. He highlighted the importance of updating competition laws to ensure fair market practices and promote innovation in the digital economy.
कंपटीशन लॉज जो हैं उसके पीछे का कारण कंज्यूमर्स को मोनोपोलीज के कारण कोई नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए। इसके पीछे का जो बैकग्राउंड है हमारे लॉज का, एक्ट्स का, टू प्रिवेंट एंटी कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रैक्टिसेस, प्रमोट एंड सस्टेन कंपटीशन इन द मार्केट। मार्केट में फेयर कंपटीशन होता है तो उसका मार्केट को भी फायदा होता है, देश की इकोनॉमी को भी फायदा होता है।
India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati received the Jamal Lal Sharma Award for invaluable contribution at the Hockey India Annual Awards 2024 in New Delhi on Saturday. Prasar Bharati Board Chairman Navneet Kumar Sehgal received the award at the ceremony. Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Kiran Rijiju and Hockey India President Dilip Tirki were also present at the ceremony. Notably, Prasar Bharati has been playing a crucial role in growing and promoting hockey in India and inspiring future generations. The chairman also pitched in to promote hockey through its OTT platform Waves.
Prasar Bharati, we tried to make hockey reach every nook and corner of this country. You know, as Mr. Jitin Prasad was saying, there is a need for a Grameen hockey league. And we at Prasar Bharati, through Doordarshan and our new OTT network, that is Waves, platform Waves, we are trying to make hockey reach every nook and corner of the country to, encourage not only the players, but also give them honor and respect that they deserve.
Chicago's beloved St. Patrick's Day tradition unfolded once again on Saturday as thousands converged downtown to witness the majestic Chicago River transform into a dazzling green hue. This enduring spectacle, now 60 years young, is lovingly orchestrated by the Chicago Journeyman Plumbers Local Union 130. With great fanfare, 40 pounds of environmentally friendly vegetable-based dye are poured into a quarter-mile stretch of the river, yielding a resplendent emerald green color. The union assures that the orange-red powder is non-toxic and harmless to wildlife, making this festive tradition a guilt-free delight. As the river remains green for several hours, the city revels in the joy and magic of this iconic celebration. In a celebration of achievement and community spirit, the Indian Embassy in Tokyo recently honored Dr. Lex Juneja, a distinguished recipient of prestigious Pravasi Bharatiya Samman. This recognition highlights his exceptional contributions to strengthening ties between India and Japan. DD India's Palomi Burman gets us this report.
The Indian Embassy looked all lit with dignitaries and guests who gathered to congratulate Dr. Lex Juneja for his achievement. Lex Raj's journey exemplifies the spirit of the Indian diaspora, and his work has left an indelible mark on the community here in Japan. The Pravasi Bharatiya Samman, India's highest honor for overseas Indians, is a testament to his extraordinary efforts. Dr. Lex Juneja was honored with the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman by the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, in January for his 40 years of dedication towards connecting India and Japan through the field of science, technology and business.
Ambassador Shibi George, he was very kind to nominate me and to facilitate this award, and then I didn't expect there'll be 200 people around. So there were friends, there were people who were part of my journey 40 years, and there were very important dignitaries around, to celebrate this, I was so impressed, that the Chief Minister, Foreign Minister are sending the word from India. It was overwhelming. It was beautiful.
The event emphasized on the significance of Lex Raj's contributions, highlighting his role as a bridge between the two nations. The Ambassador of India to Japan, Shibi George, felicitated Dr. Lex Juneja for his achievement. He also mentioned that Dr. Juneja's story will work as an inspiration for the youth living in Japan.
Thank you very much. We are now assembled here to felicitate Mr. Lex Juneja, the winner of Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award 2025. It's a proud moment for the diaspora in Japan, and I dedicate this award to the Indian youth in Japan. The future of India-Japan relationship depends on the youth. It's very important that there is regular engagement and connectivity between the youth of the two countries. We are currently working on to get more Indian youth to come to Japan, both as students and also highly skilled professionals. I am sure that this award would be an inspiration for the youth to dedicate themselves for India's growth and India-Japan relationship, how to promote that.
It's a feeling of pride and celebration here today. Dr. Lex Juneja's achievement serves as an inspiration to the entire Indian community here. This celebration here today at the embassy is not only to celebrate his past achievements, but also to inspire the younger generation living here in Tokyo. This is Palomi Burman reporting for DD India from Tokyo.
You're watching DD India Newshour. Time now for sport, and Hockey India celebrated the country's hockey heroes at a glittering ceremony on the occasion of the Hockey India 7th Annual Awards 2024 at New Delhi on Saturday. Here's a report by DD India's Faiz Khan.
Hockey India brought together the Indian hockey fraternity for its 7th Annual Awards in New Delhi on Saturday. This year's awards were special for two significant reasons. Firstly, 2025 marks 100 years of Indian hockey as India became affiliated to the International Hockey Federation in 1925. Secondly, it commemorates the 50th anniversary of India's historic 1975 World Cup victory, the nation's first and only World Cup title to date. To honor this milestone, Hockey India facilitated the members of the victorious 1975 World Cup squad.
मुझे गर्व होता है कि आज इसी दिन में हमारे इंडियन टीम इंडिया 1975 में कोलालंपुर में वर्ल्ड चैंपियन हुए थे, जो कि हमारे लिए गर्व की बात है।
जो हमने सोचा कि हमारा भारतीय हॉकी इंडिया फिर से हम बादशाह बन सकता है, फिर से बादशाह बन गया है। हम कंसेक्यूटिव 2 बार ओलंपिक मेडल जीतना, और आज के जमाने में दुनिया का टॉप टीम को देखिए, एक स्पेस खाली नहीं छोड़ता, इतना टाइट मैन मार्किंग, हर चीज इतना टाइट है। ऐसा में हम उनको हरा करके ओलंपिक मेडल जीत के लाना, ये कोई मामूली बात नहीं है।
Among the evening's top owners, Savita Punia and Hamarpreet Singh were named the winners of the Balbir Singh Senior Award for Player of the Year 2024 in the women's and men's categories respectively. Harmanpreet Singh, after winning his second Balbir Singh Senior Award, thanked the organization and highlighted the honoring of the 1975 World Cup team.
बहुत खुश हूँ और बहुत लकी समझ रहा हूँ अपने आप को कि आज का जो समय जो फंक्शन है हमने उनके साथ स्पेंड किया है और उनको लाइव देखा है, तो हमारे लिए एक आई थिंक लाइफ टाइम ये मेमोरी है और मैं इसको बहुत संभाल के रखूँगा मैं।
Additionally, PR Srijesh, who retired last year, was recognized for his achievement as the FIH Men's Goalkeeper of the Year. During the event, India's Paris 2024 Olympic bronze medal winning team was also felicitated, alongside the Asian Champions Trophy winning men's and the Junior Asia Cup winning squads.
With the celebration of India's rich hockey legacy and recognition of its present-day stars, the Hockey India Annual Award 2024 proved to be a grand tribute to the sport. As the country gear up for a historic centenary year in 2025, the event served as a reminder for India's deep-rooted passion for hockey and its bright future ahead. This is Faiz Khan with cameraman Vinod Oja for DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.
कब तक लंबी लाइनों में उम्र बिताइएगा? डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाइए, चुटकी में हल पाइए। पुराने तरीके कब तक अपनाइएगा? डिजिटल पेमेंट बहुत आसान है, देखिए चुटकी में पेमेंट चुकाइए। बटुआ ढूंढ रहे हैं? डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाइए, कभी भी कहीं भी और सुरक्षित। हमने तो इन्हें डिजिटल पेमेंट करना सिखा दिया है। आपने? RBI कहता है कि
डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाओ
औरों को भी सिखाओ।